Morning students, and welcome to history class again. Dear students, we are going to start a new lesson from history, that is lesson 3, Jainism and Buddhism. So in this lesson we will learn about the emergence of two new religions in India in the 6th century BC. Okay, Jainism and Buddhism were the two new religions that emerged in India due to some factors. So we will learn the factors. What were the various reasons or causes for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism in India. Before that, we will learn about the various sources to know about Buddhism, okay, and Jainism. The sources like Angas, Tripitaka, okay, Tripitaka, the Jataka stories, all are the three sources to know about the great religious teachers like Mahavir and Lord Buddha. So Vardhamana Mahavira, we will learn who was Vardhamana Mahavira and who was Gautama Buddha or Siddhartha. Okay, and the teachings of these two religious teachers, the teachings of Lord Buddha, the teachings of Lord Mahavira. Okay, so before that, let me give some introduction about the lesson. Okay, so Jainism and Buddhism. Okay, so we have learned that I already said emergence of these two philosophy or religions in 6th century BC. Why 6th century BC? The 6th century BC is regarded as an important period in world history. 6th century BC was an important age or period in the world history because there was the emergence of great thinkers like Zoroaster in Persia, Confucius in China, Mahavira and Gautama in India. Okay, 6th century BC, the world witnessed the rise of a number of great thinkers like Zoroaster in Persia, Confucius in China, Mahavira and Buddha in Gautama Buddha in India. In India, it was the period when orthodox religious beliefs and practices were challenged and even rejected by the new religions. Okay, during the emergence of this religion or 6th century BC, so people began to reject the traditional beliefs, orthodox beliefs and practices. Okay, they challenged and even rejected by new religions. So 6th century BC witnessed the rise of a number of scholars or great thinkers in the world. Okay, please remember Zoroaster. Who was Zoroaster? Zoroaster was an ancient Iranian spiritual leader who founded Zoroastrianism. Was an ancient Iranian philosopher, a spiritual leader. His teachings challenged the existing traditions of other religions and inaugurated a movement that eventually became the dominant religion in ancient Persia. Zoroaster was a great spiritual leader, no? Zoroaster and his Zoroastrianism. And then who was Confucius? Confucius was a Chinese philosopher and a politician in between BC 551 to 479. Okay, he was a great Chinese philosopher, Confucius. The philosophy of Confucius, also known as Confucianism, emphasized personal and governmental morality, correctness of social relationship, justice, kindness and sincerity. the great teachings of Confucius. 6th century BC witnessed the rise of great religious teachers or philosophers or thinkers like Zoroaster, Confucius, Mahavira, and Lord Buddha. Okay, so and their teachings. So in India, there was a rise of two great thinkers or religious teachers like Vardhamana Mahavira, and his Jainism is the religion. So what is Jainism? Jainism is an ancient religion from India that teaches that the way to liberation and bliss, that happiness, is to live lives of harmlessness and renunciation. Okay, Jainism is an ancient religion that emerged in India due to various reasons on those days. And Vardhamana Mahavira was a founder of this religion. Okay, according to Jain tradition, he was a Tirthankara. Okay, the essence of Jainism is concern for the welfare of every being in the universe and for the health of universe itself. Okay, Jainism, introduction only. Jainism, traditionally known as Jain Dharma, it traces its spiritual ideas and history through a succession of 24 leaders or Tirthankaras, with the first Rishabhnatha, or also known as the Adinath Bhagavan. According to Jain tradition, there were 24 religious teachers. Who was the first one? Rishabhnatha, or the Adinath Bhagavan, who according to Jain tradition lived millions of years ago. The 23rd Tirthankara was Parshvanatha in 900 BCE, and the 24th Tirthankara, the Mahavira, around 500 BCE, 500, not 5000, sorry. According to Jain tradition, there were religious teachers. Okay, 24 religious, and 24th Tirthankara was Lord Mahavira. And why he was known as the founder of Jainism? Because he gave a practical shape to Jain tradition. That is why we are calling him as a founder of Jainism. According to Jain tradition, or Jain Dharma, before Lord Mahavira, there were 23 religious teachers or Tirthankara. Okay, Tirthankaras. Okay, so Jainism and Buddhism is an Indian religion founded on the teachings of a religious teacher or spiritual teacher called the Buddha. Okay, that we will learn religious teachers. Okay, so Mahavira and Lord Buddha. Okay, again 6th century BC. Already we have learned what is the importance of 6th century BC. No, the emergence of a number of thinkers in the world. Okay, like Zoroaster, Confucius, Mahavira, and Gautama Buddha. In the 6th century BC, the Aryan settlement is expanded to the east, accompanied by rapid socio-economic and political changes. We have learned about the arrival or the advent of the Aryans to India. No? According to Max Muller, a German philosopher or a German scholar, not a philosopher, scholar. Okay, so which was the original home of the Aryans? And we have learned still now dispute is going about the original home of the Aryans. No, some are saying they were from the Arctic region. According to A.C. Das, an Indian historian, he said they were from India only. What was the idea of Max Muller about the original home of the Aryans? What was the idea of Swami Dayananda Saraswati about the original home of the Aryans? Different views are there about the original home of the Aryans. Okay, please remember this one. Okay, And we have learned about the arrival of the Aryans and their early settlement in Sapta Sindhu. And from Sapta Sindhu, they gradually or slowly occupied the whole of North India. Aryavarta, we have learned, no, Aryavarta. So, okay, then, so by rapid social, then society at some places had traits of tribal political organization, while at some other places kingdoms were on the rise. Materialism and spiritualism both existed side by side. The emergence of a number of small kingdoms, okay, kingdoms in the Aryan society. The people in the later Vedic age began to use implements and tools made of iron. The iron tools enabled them to clear forests, bring more land under cultivation, and lead a city life. Okay, we have learned about the discovery of the iron and what were the use of iron for the Aryans. So they made a number of implements, okay, of iron, and they cleared the forest and they cultivated more, okay, and more cultivation gave them more revenue. As a result, there was surplus production of food grains. This surplus produce could be utilized by the kings to meet their military and administrative needs. They sold the surplus, no, and they earned more, okay, revenue or money. They used this money for what we can say defense. It could also be used by the people in the towns who specialize in various arts and crafts. All these advantages enabled the people to lead a city life and expand further in neighboring areas. So listen, iron tools and implement helped them to cultivate more. They cleared more jungles or forests and they cultivated the new area, gave them new, okay, gave them increased income, no, okay, so many area, the increase of population and the increase of the areas of cultivation. This expansion resulted in wars between different tribes. Okay, the beginning of wars between the different tribes. In these wars, the larger and more powerful tribes defeated the smaller ones and expanded their territory and created large kingdoms. We know, no, on those days there were many small kingdoms and these kingdoms were always in fight to occupy more land, no. So what happened? So the powerful kingdoms defeated the smaller one or the weaker ones and emerged what we call as a number of kingdoms. These kingdoms were called Janapadas. A number of Janapadas joined together to form bigger and more powerful independent kingdoms called Mahajanapadas. A very powerful or a very vast kingdom, Mahajanapadas. The 6th century BC is regarded as an important epoch in the history which saw the emergence of thinkers like Zoroaster in Persia, we have learned, no? Confucius in China, Mahavira and Gautama Buddha in India. In India, it was the period when orthodox religious beliefs and practices were challenged and even rejected by the new sects. Of these sects, Jainism and Buddhism emerged as the most important religious reform movement. Okay, let me say. So we have learned about the religion of the Aryans, no? Okay. So in the later Vedic period, religion became more expensive. People had to spend money. Okay, so that we have learned. Once again, we will learn the reason for the rise of these two religions in our country, 6th century BC. This is only the introduction. Okay, and in the next video, we will learn about the various sources to know more about Buddhism and Jainism, or what are the various sources that we have to know about Lord Buddha and Lord Mahavira. Okay, and there was a question from a student. Okay, he asked what is Bhagavad Gita. Already explained this Bhagavad Gita. Once again, for your knowledge, I would like to explain what is Bhagavad Gita and its importance. So please remember, it is a Vedic text, no, Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, literally the song of God, often referred as to as the Gita. Okay, is a 700 verse Hindu scripture that is a part of the epic Mahabharata. So Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata in chapters 23 to 40 of Mahabharata in Bhishma Parva, commonly dated to the 2nd century BCE. Okay, so it is a Vedic text. Okay, the Bhagavad Gita is set in a narrative framework of a dialogue between Pandava prince Arjuna and his guide and charioteer Lord Krishna. At the start of the Dharma Yuddha between Pandavas and Kauravas, okay, the essence of this Bhagavad Gita, no, Arjuna is filled with moral dilemma and despair about the violence and death the war will cause in the battle against his own kin. Okay, Arjuna was in confusion, no, during the Kurukshetra battle, the battle between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Arjuna was in the Pandavas side, we know that one, no. He wonders if he should renounce and seeks Krishna's counsel, push and says and discourse constitute the Bhagavad Gita. So what is the important subject of this Bhagavad Gita? Gita Upadesh, no? Please remember. Okay, Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna counsels Arjuna to fulfill his Kshatriya duty to uphold the Dharma through selfless action. Their dialogues cover a broad range of spiritual topics, touching upon ethical dilemmas and philosophical issues that go far beyond the war Arjuna faces. So there was a dialogue, no, not a dialogue, there was a discussion or a, so Lord Krishna gave a sermon to Arjuna when he hesitated to fight against his brothers in the Kurukshetra battle. No? So this sermon is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, a literary text. Okay. So that is the importance of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Upadesh. Lord Krishna gave a sermon to Arjuna when he hesitate to fight against his own kin. Okay, Pradesh. Okay. That is what we call Gita Upadesh, you know. Okay, please remember. So this is about Bhagavad Gita. So we have learned lesson number 2 about the Aryans, the 4 Vedas, the 2 epics, and many other books we have learned, no, Brahmanas, Vedangas, Aranyakas, Darshanas, okay, Smritis, all are the literary sources to know about the Aryans and their early life. So what is Rig Veda? The oldest testament in the world, no? Okay, we have learned, and it takes 10 mandalas we have learned. How many hymns are there in this? Okay, that Rig Veda. So Rig Veda, like that Bhagavad Gita, Song of God. Okay, often referred to as the Gita, is a 700 verse Hindu scripture that is a part of the epic Mahabharata. During the Mahabharata, you know, Lord Krishna gave a sermon to Arjuna. This is the essence of Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So after the reopening of the school, I will explain. I will clear all the doubts regarding the history lessons, no doubt for that. I will explain, we will have the time. Okay, thank you very much.